my topic of presentation is co-design with users, the importance of co-creation in personal spaces, design and user psychology. The objective of the research was to identify and address the areas in residential space design where co-creation becomes crucial and customer satisfaction becomes a prime concern. The current social structure in India has led to a lifestyle where people have nuclear families and hence the spaces are very compact and functional. Most of the houses are blocks of apartments designed in a very generic way and provides solution for basic functional needs. India, being a country with varied cultures, religions, and social structure, has people coming from places far apart and totally different in their tradition, food habits, and social needs. It becomes a challenge for a space designer to cater to the needs of these vastly different people with various habits and needs. Though people in the cities are staying as per their social status, still they believe in having their personal spaces with the comforts of traditional ways of living, eating, and socializing. All the apartments look the same in plan and orientation in spite of the locations as well cultural differences in the background of the people residing there. The personal touch is missing, and it seems that the houses have not only become block modules of architectural structures, but also in the use of the space as well the liking and disliking. A need is identified to bring in the personal touch to make people own the space as well connect with the same. Personal identity is lost. Everything looks cloned. The observation led to analyzing and identifying the need to study the requirements of various types of people as per their tradition, culture, or personal preferences. The observation also led to a study that the clients is not aware of what could be the possibilities in space design and how the design spaces could give them an experience as required. Most of the clients go in for a theme or space designed with trendy colors, competing with being more aware and progressive, even if the color or design does not reflect their personality or personal liking. The clients need to be educated with proper communication of the effects and after effects of the solution with long-term preferences kept in mind. To identify and address the areas in residential space design where co-creation becomes crucial and customer satisfaction becomes a prime concern. Co-creation is not only a need of the day, but existed in the space design as most of the time client has to give the information. The client might at times not be too keen to participate in the brainstorming as he expects the designer to find a solution. But the solutions could be best arrived at with the client's inputs as he is the direct user of the space and he can only share his personal likings. Hence, his inputs become crucial. Also, the client can get some nice solutions through interactions with a team of contractors, architects, or the designers by communicating with them. In context to the current scenario of space design in India, I would be looking into the residential spaces and the role of designer in handling such spaces. How to bring in personalization to the modules, what makes a space personal, how much can a designer make it personal, the role of the user in developing the spaces, is the user aware, does he have a part knowledge of the trends through travel, information available through digital medium, information available through exhibitions and other mediums. Neighbors become source of information. Movies, TV shows could also be influencing the user. How do we make people speak about the same, or what kind of leverage is required to be given to people at the time of designing is important aspect to be considered and is crucial. Every person will need a different kind of liberty for these, and hence we need to see what kind of flexibility can be provided for a certain individual based on our interaction with the person while designing his spaces, as well understanding his psychology through the interactive sessions. Human psychology is an important aspect to be considered while designing spaces for personal use. People are possessive of certain things. Their behavior may change in public spaces versus personal space. As well, how do they respond to the space may vary based on whom are they sharing the space with. Clients have information collected through various sources. They insist on copying the same and redesign, looking for only technical help. Influence of information collected through travel to various countries. They want their homes to be designed as a luxury hotel. The need of a home is not understood beyond visual appeal. Sometimes the spaces are designed only to influence the people at a social level rather than comfort of self. Lack of understanding the long-term factors affecting their decisions. Color palette is totally mismatched to the scale of the space and the individual likings, dislikings, or nature. Educating the client is a need to make them understand the volume of the space. What looks nice on a screen might not look nice when transformed in a space. Loud colors, patterns, textures affect the person psychologically, which are used on TV screens, movie sets, where the impact is needed. Each factor is not considered while choosing the color. Choosing the wall colors is a big challenge as it takes a major area in a space. Other elements in a space like furniture, paintings, accessories also build up a space which is ignored while deciding the colors. Design process followed in the firms. Processes are very much client oriented and timeline affects the same. Client not interested in spending time on the process to arrive at a solution. Brief given by client is often vague to the extent of not knowing what is needed in the space, and contrarily, it is rigid as well. Very minimal time is spent on understanding the client thoroughly, hence the solutions are very generic. This leads to dissatisfaction at the client's end. Need to write down what he wants. Options could be generated based on the interactions or discussions. We will be looking at few case studies of the work done by the students at different places with totally different clients. What are the factors which derive the solution? In the case studies, I would be looking at the following criteria: whether brief was given by the client, process followed, interaction with the client, time-bound decisions, client feedback. The points of analysis are location, area, space, do they share the requirement openly, personal likings and dislikings, age group, gender, client's personal interest, time spent in personal activities. Does the client understand the importance of designing personal spaces and importance of the space in self-development, client background, social status, financial status, profession, personal interest, how much area is used for personal space, activities in personal. I would be presenting here 3 case studies of projects done by students on residential spaces based in various cities in India. The projects were done by students in various years, which also define the kind of approach which has over past years remained the same. In this presentation, I would be looking at living room spaces and master bedroom of these 3 case studies. I would be comparing on the basis of location, background of the client, space planning, mood board, color palette, visual identity, and furniture. These are the 3 briefs of the different projects where all the case studies presented here are of Pune, India, where the clients are having a different background as well family structure. All of them have 4 family members. The 3 case studies presented here have people working in IT firms, in financial companies, as well as some homemakers are there. These are the site plans of the case studies where the 3 areas are located in the outskirts of Pune. You can see very well here the block modules of the societies where they are living, and they look very blockish in the view. These were the final layout plans where you can very clearly see that the areas of these three houses were almost equal. The requirements again was of 4 people, where the husband, wife, and 2 kids were there. Definitely the age group of kids was varying, but the overall planning looks so similar with respect to the blocks placement of furniture. You can see the mood board. It's so much similar with respect to the kind of color palette which has been used. All of them has almost beigeish color which is used, and a hint of color here and there. Again, when we look at the material board, a very similar kind of material was chosen with the current trend of having glass, back painted glass, tiles, and laminates. I'll be now looking into areas individually and comparing them. Looking at the living room, all the 3 plans have a similar kind of a living room with L-shaped sofa, which is placed in one corner, and a TV unit, which is a sleek TV unit, and wall-mounted TV. We can see again in the living room, the color palette is almost similar with the beige color, a brown color, and a peach color being used in all 3 of them. Now, when we look at the final output, apart from the color, we can see the kind of furniture is so similar with the kind of TV unit, sleek TV unit, which is going on the wall, the kind of ceiling lights, concealed ceiling light, very linear lights being used on the ceiling, and the kind of tiles which are there. So overall, the look and feel of all the 3 spaces is similar, in spite of the fact that they belong to different backgrounds and different needs are there. Now, when we look at a more personal space like a master bedroom, you can see again, definitely the layouts have beds which are double beds which are being used, and definitely a storage space is there for, and a writing desk is there. Again, the color palette is similar with a beige and a darker color and a peach color being used. Now, again, over here, when you look at the output, the spaces have a similar kind of a furniture and a similar kind of a ceiling. The overall look and feel is such that even if you try to replace or shift one person from one space to the other space, it would not make much of a difference, as there's no personal identity reflected in the spaces. Now, coming to kids' room, definitely kids' room was designed in a different way because the age group of the kids was different. So in one layout, you can see that a bunk bed was used, whereas in the other, twin beds were used, definitely with a writing desk being provided in each of them. The color palette was pastel colors, and primary colors were used in one of them. Now, here definitely we can see an output which is slightly different because of the needs and the age group of the people, but definitely the color ranges or color palette is almost similar, but overall output looks slightly different over here because of the needs. So I think this area has been catered very well. Coming to guest rooms, again, the color palette again remains the same with beige, peach, and browns being used throughout in all of them. And then the area space planning was slightly different with one having a double bed, whereas the other having a twin bed, and a wardrobe and a writing desk has been provided. Now, when you look at the overall outcome of the space, you can clearly see that both the spaces which are shown over here look almost like a 3-star hotel room, where the furniture almost looks similar. The ceiling no has been treated in almost a similar way with linear patterns and a concealed light. So the overall look and feel is very generic, and it doesn't give any identity of the user as such. Uh, the inference from these studies was that comparative study shows that the income, location, no family background, religion, culture of these people was totally different, yet the outcome of the spaces is very close in terms of the choice of the colors, design language, and overall look and feel of the space. The personal spaces do not have any elements which can define an individual's identity. The clients are influenced by available information. Lack of visualization of space may lead to influencing. A lot of awareness is required at the user's end to retain the originality of the traditions and culture which they inherit. It is important to keep the identity of the self, as it is getting lost in the jungle of repetitive architectural modular blocks. A lot of responsibility lies not only on the designer but user to be educated about the same, not getting driven by the information available, but to use it sensibly. It is important for the designers to educate the client to open up to understand and develop personal spaces based on the individual needs. Also, a need is there to involve the clients and co-create the spaces so that the outcome reflects the same. I would like to thank you for being patient to listen, and I would also like to thank Design Principles and Practices for giving me an opportunity to present over here. Now I'm open for questions. Thank you very much.